Good evening and welcome to Give Me a Break. I'm John the Carpenter. Does your child ever struggle with math, like problem solving and all? When it comes to math, does your child ever struggle with that? Well, House Bill 123 is coming into play. It aims to support early learning when it comes to math. Now think about this: your child hates math, or your child may be the best Your child may have the best subject in school, which is math, or probably your child hates math, depending on one of the two. But math is everywhere. You learn how to measure things by cooking. That's how you know. But one school teacher, which you're about to meet, says she's seeing it all happen, and math is the problem for kids. And that new bill could help. But could it help with school choice? Here's Josh Maxwell.
Well, it's no surprise that educators are still addressing learning gaps caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Lawmakers are looking at ways to remedy that problem. One solution coming in the form of House Bill 123, a proposed law looking to identify reading and math shortfalls as early as kindergarten. It's a move Travis Elementary School teacher Katie Parker says is necessary for student success.
So students are struggling, and we're teaching multi-grade levels, just trying to close all of those gaps.
Being a fifth grade teacher, Parker says she's noticing concerning trends in students that should have been caught earlier.
So number sense, just knowing basic how to make a 10 or 100. Problem solving, they're struggling with problem solving.
That bill would provide funding resources to help educators close that gap. Parker says there can be long-term consequences if children aren't helped at an early age.
Imagine being a fifth grader and you have the knowledge of a third grader. Everything that's being spoken is above your level.
This is required for democracy.
3 News political analyst Dr. Bill Chris says the bill could help students get a foothold on their education, especially when they become old enough to vote.
Who are capable of casting intelligent votes and capable of determining what the two sides of a debate are so that they can make informed decisions about their own future.
Chris says he wouldn't be surprised if the bill got approved due to the touchy nature of the state's new school voucher program.
The fact that substantial public resources are being shifted into the private sector through the voucher program. And I think it's sort of a teaspoon of sugar to help the medicine go down.
Now, while HB 123 received final House approval today, it still has to get Senate approval before it makes its way to the governor's desk.
Great news, Spectrum Internet customers. Now you can try...
And we'll let you know what happens. But in the meantime, there are ways. There are things you can do. Like, if you got a problem with math, then figure it out. I've had great math teachers to help me out. I've had a great teacher who used to help me out, who used to be my math teacher. If she was here, she would tell me, oh, he was being relying on his calculators. But no one can rely on the calculators, because it's like, what's 2 plus 2 without using a calculator? What's 5 plus 5 without using a calculator? It's very easy just to solve problems without using a calculator. And if you can find ways, then hopefully...
You might...
And if you have... And car insurance, if your car insurance is up, then maybe we can help you find some ways to help save your car insurance. Here's Michaela Chavez.
Leonard Reyes owns Discount AC and Heating.
We have a total of 4 company vehicles.
I'm Michaela Chavez, your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter downtown. Like others, you might have noticed you're paying more on car insurance. A number of things, from accidents to driving violations, can cause premiums to go up. Here are ways to keep more money in your pocket. It's no secret.
It's outrageous right now.
Car insurance rates have gone up.
It's just skyrocketed.
Leonard Reyes owns Discount AC and Heating.
We have a total of 4 company vehicles.
And owning his business comes at a price.
So I have to have them insured.
A high one.
Over the last 3 years, I would say about 40% higher.
I spoke with Robert Valdez, an agent producer with Affordable Insurance of Texas. He tells me there's lots of factors that determine your rate and possible discounts right off the bat.
Your age, your zip code, the likelihood that that vehicle gets stolen or vandalized. If you're married, if you're a male, if you're a female.
The biggest way to lower your rates is if you have 6 months of prior insurance.
That's like a huge discount.
Valdez says that specific discount can actually benefit other household members too when it's time for them to start driving.
It's best to add your son or daughter onto your policy because they get to take advantage of your discount. You've had prior insurance, you're married.
Some insurances also have some type of safe driving tracker to help save some money. But Valdez says there's a catch.
Drive as if you have a glass of wine on the floorboard of the passenger side and you don't want the wine to spill out. People don't drive like that.
And if you have some type of moving violation, taking a defensive driving course is an option, but it comes at a cost.
You won't take a hit on your insurance rate. You still pay for the ticket. You have to pay for the defensive driving class. You got to order your motor vehicle report.
And if none of those options sounds like something you can take on, you can always bundle.
I bundle my homeowners along with my auto for my personal cars and the business. So I can only imagine if it weren't bundled, how high it would be.
You can always shop around to see what fits your budget. Remember, different companies have different rates. And before you buy a new vehicle, keep in mind that some cars are more expensive to insure. With your Neighborhood News Downtown, I'm your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter, Michaela Chavez, at Chris 6 Sunrise.
So be prepared to look up some car rate insurance. We'll let you know in the near future. Next, school choice. Baltimore County is up against school choice, and the question is, why aren't they doing any school choices? Please stay with us. Welcome back. Did Kingsville do any better after not taking accountability? After I did the whole Kingsville is in trouble bit. But if you heard that, they probably did better. How come? Well, if you remember, Kingsville did a 4-day school week. Now, when COVID-19 happened, most schools went into 4 days, meaning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you have a 3-day weekend. But there is changes. Kingsville is now doing a 5-day. It's now going back to 5 days a week. Why the change? And what do people in the Kingsville area say? Here's Tarius Moore.
Board members for the Kingsville Independent School District voted Tuesday in favor of a 5-day school week. This was a reversal of approving a 4-day school week in 2023. People attending the meeting learned, according to a presentation shown to the board, the change comes after months of surveys and research with feedback from students, teachers, and parents.
This is not a big issue for me personally, but I just feel like I think it works for everybody here. I feel like the kids liked it.
Ricky Thomas doesn't seem fazed by the change, but others enjoyed having Fridays.
Came in handy whenever we have to make like doctor's appointments and stuff. Okay, you know, we can make it on a Friday, they won't miss school, they won't get held accountable.
Some parents believe the shift in the school day schedule, which takes away having Fridays off, could have a positive impact.
You know, I would rather sacrifice that and have my kids have an extra day of education if that means giving them an extra day to learn, understand, and grow as a person to help them succeed later in life.
The district plans to begin their 5-day school week starting next semester. In Kingsville, I'm your Neighborhood News reporter, Tyrese Boone, Chris 6 News.
Which that next semester would be 2025-2026. Now, most other schools are still doing 5 days, but we don't do that here in Flatbush. We stick with 5 days, not 4 days. We recently had some, what we did is we recently have some, a bunch of 4-day schools because of holidays. But now more is coming to. But now there could be enough. Meaning, people took Fridays off because of, doctor's appointments, or, kids can have that extra day off, and parents don't even go to work. They just go to their doctor's appointments, or they have a family emergency and just go for like a 3-day weekend. Friday you would go to your family emergency or go to a funeral, and the next day, and you're back on Monday, and then bada boom, poof, there you go. there has been some doctor shortages here, and it's causing controversy throughout all the coastal bend. Now, my mom's a nurse, which makes her probably a doctor, and there is now a proposed bill, that would really help out. This is the bill we're talking about here, and it could be introduced as an act if it was proposed. But the question is, could it really help out with the doctor shortages? Could it help out with those doctor shortages? And could it really be helpful to any nurses out there who want to become doctors? Here's Alexis Scott.
House Bill 4801, proposed by State Representative Denise Villalobos, aims to allow the Nueces County Hospital District to recruit and retain certain medical professionals and provide care to the underserved at little or no cost. It would also increase the number of residency positions and establish accountability controls for hospitals awarded the money. Precinct 4 County Commissioner Brent Chesney supports the bill.
We have to serve our indigent community, but we also have to get doctors for this community in general. And so the byproduct of this bill is, even though this is geared towards the indigent, if you bring more doctors, that's going to help the community as a whole.
Chris Despon, one of the few hospital systems within Nueces County, proposing revisions to the bill. One recommendation could restrict eligibility to hospitals that make up at least 33% of the combined inpatient and outpatient charity care costs in Nueces County. The other aims at only offering hospitals money based on the amount of indigent care they actually provided in the previous year. Changes that Chesney doesn't believe is inclusive of all hospitals in our area.
That's not what they want their legacy to be. That's not who they serve. They serve the people of this community unless you have local opposition. And if your only opposition is because you're being selfish, that's not right.
Nueces County Hospital District Administrator and CEO Johnny Hitt agrees this could cause some challenges.
That hospital system doesn't operate the only residency programs in the community, and they're not the only one who have needs.
Following a physician needs assessment, the hospital district found a significant gap between the amount of primary care and specialized physicians the community needs compared to what we actually have. House Bill 4801 could close that gap. Chris 6 News reached out to Chris Despon for an interview, and they provided this statement, saying in part, they appreciate Villalobos' work and support to provide funding to hospitals to provide care to residents of Nueces County. You can read the full statement on our website.
House Bill 4801 passed committee review and could move forward for debate on the House floor. If passed, it could go into effect September 1st. In the Bay Area, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Alexis Scott, Chris 6 News.
So we could see more doctors in the near future, in this year, before the end of the year. But if that bill is not passed, there's going to be more doctor shortages and more doctor shortages if it doesn't happen. So if this bill passes in the near future, we will let you know on a future Give Me a Break. We'll let you know what happens. And even then, we could have more doctors, we could have less doctors, more doctors could resign, or even then, no doctors at all. But we need medical professionals. If we don't have those medical professionals, how are we going to know if we're going to live or die? I mean, back in the old days, it's like, I'm not paying for you, doctor. You better ask Google. Like, I go to the hospital, you got hospital money? Better ask Google. Yeah, wow. Alright. Next, school choices. Baltimore County, with its scandals, choosing not to do school choice. Texas, being the only state not just the only state. There's other states that do school choice, but Baltimore County does not do school choice. But with all its scandals happening, what in the world is going on? Chris Papps will explain when we come back. Please stay with us. 17 states, Texas is now the 17th state to pass school choice vouchers. But could Maryland be the 18th state? The answer is no. But with all the scandals going on, why the fuck would they not be able to pass school choice when it came to all the scandals Project Baltimore has done and we told you about? Every scandal we've ever talked about leads Baltimore County and the state of Maryland to say, hey, we don't have an educational problem. We do fine. But Baltimore City needs to step up to the fucking plate and say, hey, we done messed up. We do need school choice. It's competition. Baltimore County and the state of Maryland need to do better. If no one does better, no one cares. Every state, every city, every county needs to care about your child's education. But the Maryland government's going to be like, nah, we don't care. We don't care about your education. We'll create these scandals and, we'll sit there and not care. Okay, well, lawsuits could be filed. Media could still be reporting, including YouTubers like me could just rant about, why the state of Maryland won't do school choice. So the question is, New Hampshire could be 19. So the question is, could Maryland be the 18th state or the 19th state to pass if they step to the plate? Or if they say no, what's going to happen to your child's future in the state of Maryland? Here's Chris Papps.
For the purpose of requiring on or before a certain date each year.
Maryland State Delegate Lauren Arkin is a Republican from Hartford County who strongly supports school choice.
Our kids in a lot of our school districts have been trapped in failing schools for generations. They're graduating without being able to read, to write, to do basic math. And so the prospects of their lives are greatly diminished by our state's failure to properly educate these kids.
This past legislative session, Arkin sponsored House Bill 1180, known as the Right to Learn Act. The bill expanded Maryland's Boost program to give students who attend low-performing schools, those that earn 1 star on the Maryland Report Card for 3 years in a row, the opportunity to enroll in the public or non-public school of their choice.
Delegate Fisher, House Bill 1180.
The Right to Learn Act in March went before the House Ways and Means Committee, but it was largely ignored.
This bill provides options, meaningful options.
The legislation was presented by Delegate Mark Fisher, but when he finished,
thank you, Madam Chairwoman,
there were no questions, no comments, no votes.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
No anything.
Okay, thank you, Delegate Fisher.
Thank you.
That concludes the hearing on House Bill 1180.
The bill quickly died.
It's a sad situation to see kids that have no prospect of finding a job or getting out of the communities that they're languishing in. It's heartbreaking to watch.
Arkin and her Republican colleagues in Annapolis for the past few years have introduced a school choice bill, and every year it dies immediately, she says, because of one reason.
The teachers union is the most powerful union. It's the most powerful lobbying group in the state, unfortunately, and they are diametrically opposed to school choice.
With 75,000 members, the Maryland State Education Association, MSEA, is the state's largest and most powerful teachers union. In 2022, nearly every political candidate recommended by MSEA, including Governor Wes Moore, won. Since 2010, MSEA has contributed a total of more than $530,000 to current state legislators. Of the 188 members of the Maryland General Assembly, MSEA contributed to 114 of them. Of those 114, 108 are Democrats, meaning 94% of the recipients of MSEA political contributions were Democrats.
Vote for Wes Moore and your local educator-recommended candidates.
Governor Wes Moore received more than $10,000 from the MSEA. The union also produced a commercial supporting Moore and spent $130,000 promoting it. MSEA, on its website, calls school choice an existential threat to public schools, explaining, Public tax dollars should be spent improving our public schools, not subsidizing expensive private schools.
They pay the Democrats to support their policies that keep kids locked in failing schools, and then at the end of the day, the Democrats reward them by, killing school choice bills.
Nobody's saying anything.
Jim Brochin is a former Democratic state senator. He told Project Baltimore in February that MSEA's power in Annapolis needs to be checked.
My colleagues and former colleagues, they call me up and they say, this is unbelievable, this union is out of control. And I said, well, do something. They said, I can't. Why? Because they won't endorse me, and on election day, they won't hand out the ballot that has the apple in it that has my name on it.
Is the teachers union that powerful in the state of Maryland?
Yes.
MSEA appears to have so much influence that as much of America is embracing school choice, Maryland is going in the opposite direction. Maryland's Boost program offers low-income students scholarships to attend parochial and other non-public schools. But in 2022, state lawmakers placed restrictions on who is eligible. That year, according to state records, Boost had more than 3,200 recipients who received $10 million. By 2024, about 2,400 recipients received $8.4 million.
It's not universal school choice. It's just to try and save the kids that have been languishing in really failing districts for such a long period of time that there's now generations of kids that are uneducated when they leave school. The Democrats have the power to change it overnight.
Recent polling suggests that Marylanders support school choice. According to a Gonzalez research poll released in January, 74% of Maryland voters support school choice, with 59% strongly supporting it. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
So that leads you to believe nobody in this, there's the whole community of Maryland, of Baltimore County, is supporting school choice, while the teachers union is putting down the hammer saying, no, we hate school choice. I wanna see it go down the drain. I don't want my child to be choosing schools. I want them to be stuck in public schools, and I'll whip it out of them until I die. That's their attitude. They're like, nope, we don't want school choice. We want our kids to suffer in public schools. We'll be evil about it. Well, no teachers union can take criticism quietly. You criticize them, they'll march right on your fucking doorstep and say, hey, you owe us an apology. They'll march right on your doorstep and say, hey, you done fucked up, boy. We demand an apology. I'm gonna sit there and say, they demand me an apology? Say, nope, I'm not gonna apologize because you won't approve school choice. I'll apologize if you approve school choice for your child. It's healthy for your child. It's called competition. Competition makes everything better. I mean, what's gonna happen? One of the teachers unions and I were gonna go on a fist fight, me like this, you know. What, you wanna go, motherfucker? What, you wanna go? Let's go! You throwing fists out in the parking lot in front of everybody. The teachers get out their phones and they start filming and all, and then all of a sudden, poof. It all goes on YouTube, and the Haunted Troubadour gets called out for fighting a teacher. My teacher would be very upset, and the community would call me out for picking a fight. I'd be like, hey, it wasn't my choice. They started it. And my mom would be like, I heard you got in a fight. Did you start it? No, I didn't. Did you finish it? Yes, I did. Case closed. And it was all about defending myself. Well, then there'd be a different choice put into the matter here. But not every state agrees. School choice equals competition. And like we've been talking about here, competition makes everything a whole lot better. Where we have better technology, better cars, better cell phones and all. When you have a choice of what channel you want to watch or what music you want to listen to, competition makes everything better. It's competition. Nobody likes competition, but everyone has to do better. It's like with parenting. You may have different parenting styles. Like if you take the trash out, and you take the trash out. No, I have an online game. Absolutely not. You gotta take out that trash. It'd be like this. Mr. Referee, can you pause the game so you take out the trash and be letting her whole teammates down? We have to do better, okay? Do better. Everybody has to do better. With all the scandals going on, nobody cares. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Want to know the prices of your groceries these days and where you shop at? Well, get out a pen and paper because we're going to help you out here. We're tracking grocery prices tonight, and we're going to do something it's really something we're going to try out here, and it's something that would just inspire Channel 6. I just watched a snippet of it, didn't watch the whole thing until with y'all coming in, so with that in mind, here's Brian Hoffman.
Welcome back, folks. With the uncertainty of prices these days, plus looming tariffs that may increase those prices, we're starting up a new segment right now, today, first time ever. I'm tracking grocery prices for you to help your dollar go just a little bit further. Let's start with what's gained the most attention, right? It's those prices of eggs. Third place, that is H-E-B, sitting at $4.10. Second place, Target, $3.99, and the cheapest that we found for a dozen of eggs is Walmart, $3.94. Now on to a loaf of bread. Target takes third place, sitting at $1.89. Second place, H-E-B, sitting at $1.30, and then the cheapest place we found, Walmart, sitting at $1.27. Next up, gallon of milk. Third place, Target, $2.59. Second place, H-E-B, $2.36. And then first place goes to Walmart. Oh, actually, got those switched around. Looks like first place actually goes to H-E-B. That's sitting at $2.36. Walmart is $3.42 right there. So wrapping it up is the protein. We're looking at those ground beef prices for a pound. Third place, it looks like Target, $4.99. H-E-B, $4.83, and then the cheapest spot that we found for a pound of ground beef, and that is over at Walmart, sitting at $4.64.
That is so cool. Maybe then we'll go on a Give Me a Break shopping. We'll do a little Give Me a Break consumer alert, looking for your favorite prices in your favorite stores for your ground beef and whatever, so that you can find the best price in the store. Maybe if I can ask, I gotta bring Michelle Hoffman with me. But, oh my God. Now this would be crazy. If I ask Ryan Hoffman if he wants to join me on a Give Me a Break segment for a consumer alert and add it in, maybe he and I can help out while Michelle will be doing the filming. Actually, I'm gonna have to ask them, because I've known Telling on the Mirror for about a year, and I only watched snippets on YouTube, but it would be great, we would do like a little consumer alert. Brian Hoffman would join me on the little segment. We post a little clip on YouTube, and minutes later, we're shopping around for the greatest consumer. We're riding around all over the coast of Bend, from Flower Bluff all the way to from each place, and then we compare the cheapest price in each store. Then, on whether, and I would have Brian Michelle join me, or I can just do it myself to explain those prices. And it'd be very, very super. It'd be really, really super. We would be doing, the very first time, a expert journalist would join me, a YouTuber journalist, into looking for grocery prices. And people say we can't afford eggs. Well, how about affording some dog toys? If you can't afford... Let me tell you something. If you cannot afford eggs, yeah, bust me in here for a second. Because really, you think about this for a minute. You would like to, I don't know. I just want to know, would you like to not buy eggs, but then give your dog some treats and toys where you spend like $300 a year? Like over $300 a year on your pet? You know, I would. I mean, my sister, my brother and my sister-in-law, they have 2 dogs. I don't know how much they spend, but if they can't afford freaking eggs, then they would spend $400 on their pet. Would that ever happen to me if I own a pet and I want to be spending like $300 instead of getting like, you know, $400 on eggs? Probably not, but we'll let you take a look.
What are you doing? I'm just buying eggs.
You can't afford those.
You're buying all this for Oliver?
Just the necessities. It's snowed. Can you shovel the driveway for me? I hate the cold.
What? I thought you said you hated the cold.
Oh, I do, but Oliver needs his daily walk.
Hey, this came for you.
Oh, toss it. Ow! Ow! Got a paper cut.
It's not a big deal.
Need a Band-Aid.
Doesn't that hurt?
Oh, no, not really. Can barely feel it. What are you doing?
I'm just buying eggs.
You can't afford eggs, but you can't afford toys but you can afford treats and little toys for your little poodle. Oh my god. Oh my fuck. Oh my god. Oh. You know, I'm gonna start drinking from now on. I'm gonna get a case of beer, and whenever they say you can't afford eggs, I'm gonna get drunk until I start to puke. Anyway, you say you can't afford some eggs, I'm gonna drink and drink and drink and drink till I get drunk and start to puke, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna have to call in sick to show them proof that why I can't show up to work. Because not only did I get hungover and get drunk, because I was drunk last night, talking about how much you can't afford eggs when you're spending $300 on your fucking dog. My boss would be like, huh? Look at the video going on. Okay. We'll call a note. Okie dokie. Well, I feel better. Bye-bye. Listen, I'm a dog lover. I'm a cat lover and a dog lover. I would not spend over $300 on my dog. But if I own a dog, I wouldn't be spending over $300, you know what? I mean, I'd be spending like, you know, just cheaper stuff. You know, but I choose not to. I love pets. Sometimes pets love me. I don't know how, I don't know how it would play out. Man. Alright. Alright. We are going to take a break, and we'll be right back. You know, during the break, I caught a video. A 10-year-old beating up a 10-year-old in a school bathroom. in a school bathroom. What are they thinking? Come on. You want to go fight? Go fight in a parking lot. You got issues going on, then go deal with it with your parents. But you don't fight. You're acting like kids. Even though children are kids, you know. This is not one of those times in a school place to say, oh, you want to talk about me? Oh, let's go there, motherfucker. Come on, let's go. It's not one of those times beating somebody up. It's like we talked about for years. If you have a problem with being bullied, you talk to somebody. You don't go out of your way and handle things your own way, because then it's going to get you into a lot of trouble, getting you suspended, and getting you fucking expelled. Well, the video you're about to see is hard to watch. The kids' faces are being blurred, and the parents are speaking to the media for the very first time. And I want to warn you again, what you're about to see is clearly inappropriate. Ask your kids to leave the room right now. I don't want this ever happening. I don't want them seeing this. Here's Christina Gonzalez.
Someone's gonna get angry.
The taunts are meant for the girl dressed in the red shirt, cowering in the corner of a bathroom at Inglewood's Woodworth Monroe Academy at the end of the school day on April 30th. He's masked the curse words, blurred the faces, but you can see the attack. Hair pulling and hitting as other children jump and cheer. Even as the red shirt girl goes down and you hear her crying, the hair pulling, the laughter, they continue.
My daughter was being dragged. She was literally being dragged.
Beatriz Hernandez is the mother of the child being hit on the video.
Even though it was another little girl, it's still bad. Like, how did it get this bad where the school didn't know anything about it when I went to them multiple times about my daughter's being bullied?
She shows us a report filed with Inglewood Unified School Police from December of 2023, reporting bullying against this child and her two siblings, quote, about their deceased father, who died of a heart attack 3 years ago.
Ever since my husband passed, they've been getting bullied, telling them like, your dad died, ha ha ha. I guess it's so funny for them.
She says nothing was done back then, and after this videotaped incident,
she was suspended for a fight because she fought another student. They didn't call me, she was bleeding, but they didn't call me to tell me she was bleeding. They just called me to tell me that she got in a fight.
What you see here is one victim cowering in the corner of a bathroom while multiple students not only physically and verbally attack her, but they're recording it. And we handle a lot of these cases, and unfortunately that's the reality now, that sometimes these attacks are done purely for social media.
And even she, who deals with this as a lawyer, is surprised at what the mother said, that the victim was actually suspended for getting into a fight. Now, we don't know what happened to the other children. We reached out to the school district. They say they're investigating. But as to the past incidents, any of that, nothing they're telling us on that. The mother says she actually did go to the police department, and not the school police, but the police department, to file a report. We'll keep you updated. In Inglewood, I'm Christina Gonzalez, back to you in the studio.
So what is supposed to be like the standard operating procedure in an incident like this?
Well, I mean, different schools handle it and different school districts handle it a different way. You know, the girl went to the office, to the nurse's office. That's where the grandmother found her and she was bleeding. The mother was not notified. She's supposed to be notified. School police were not called. It was the mother who called school police, and this is an assault. So, you know, it depends on the school district, but again, not getting an answer from a clear answer from the district on this, other than we are investigating the incident and cooperating not. We did this, we did that, and we tried to. It's hard to say. But I will tell you this, California is very strict, much more than other states about this. They have SETS law, which from 2012 started protecting kids a lot more from bullying. So it's something serious, but something that the attorney was saying, it seems to be exploding, especially because everybody wants to put it on social media. And they think they can get away with it.
Yeah, to think to be mocking the dead father. And it's
Scared straight. 2 words. Scared straight. Let's take another look at the video. Because the thing that's saying that victim started the fight, well, who was the bully?
Mask.
This person with the blue ponytail And this person in the red shirt, that's the mother of this victim right here. She didn't start the fight. This person did. That person right here, she started the fight. Now we can go to the school district and say, hey, I know who started the fight. This person did with that little blue ponytail. And then it'd be like, well, they want to be investigated. It'd be like saying, well, thank you, but we don't care. We suspended the victim. We don't care. We need to suspend the victim. When I went to school, this is what I learned. If you threw the first punch, you got sent to SDGC, Student Discipline Guidance Center. That's a place to where you had to wear a white shirt, closed-toed shoes, black pants or khakis, and then you had to be, and you were there all day doing your work, just like ISS. But it's different. But it's different. You probably were there for like months. It's alternative schooling. But there is points being made, you know. California is one of the stricter states that have bullying laws, unlike a bunch of other states. You know, people see a fight happening, this is their response. I gotta get this on video! Yeah, I'm gonna get 1 billion views on TikTok! It's like, dude, you know, what is wrong with you? I get you want to get 1 billion views on TikTok, but you know, you're hurting a little child's feelings. So again, we now know who started the fight. She attacked her. This person right here with the blue ponytail on, she was the one that attacked.
Shirt girl.
Attacked the child. Started dragging her. And now the school wants to say, the victim started. Nope. That little girl right there, the blue ponytail on, she punched, pulled her hair. You mean to tell people in the state of California that the victim got suspended for starting a fight? Absolutely not. She did not start a fight. Did they report it? Yes, they did. Nothing was happening until now. Now, speaking of that, sue the school district and file charges against the child and parents. If this is reversed, you have Jesse and Jackson and Al started protesting and bitching in front of the school. They need to press charges on that girl. The one recording should be punished too. But don't go to school police, go to the sheriff department. The blame goes to the child's parents for not raising them right. Obviously, this is the type of environment she's exposed to. The school needs to be held accountable for not protecting these children after their parents hand them over to them. Usual suspects hurt everybody, but the usual suspects hurt everybody else, but always cry, pretending to be their victims. Lawsuit against the parents, lawsuit against the school staff. How awful. So young for that behavior. The mom needs to sue the school and parents and press charges on that thug. Hate crime. No one wants to go the other way around. The other way around is this. You got to make sure if you're being bullied, you talk to somebody. And we got to understand this. That telling on somebody, going and telling someone in authority that you're being bullied, we always hear the word, oh, nobody likes a tattletale. Well, telling somebody that you're being bullied and being victimized, that's not telling. This is not an ongoing event where people can just say, hey, kids will be kids. What I've been talking about. I'm very passionate about bullying. I'm proud to have Robert as an expert of bullying. I'm going to ask him to come on the show one of these days so that way he can address some information. He's our bullying expert. He's not really. He's been a teacher for years. And trust me, he knows a lot about bullying. He knows a lot about bullying than we do. States have differing laws that depend on what goes on. And with bullying, kids think, oh, it's just a big joke. I was just messing around. Like with school threats, you know, it's not a joke to go bomb up a school or to threaten to shoot up a school or to threaten to beat somebody up. You think it's a joke to start a fight? Do that, you're going to end up going to jail. Juvie. Charged as an adult. Charged for assault and battery. You can be charged as an adult if something's not corrected here. The question for parents may ask is, what do I do when my child is a bully? What do I do? You need to talk to your child. If your child's a bully, here's what you need to do. You need to talk to them and tell them that, hey, bullying is unacceptable and it can lead to isolation. And ask them, how do you feel? Don't be asking them, hey, how do you feel when you bully someone? If you bully someone, you're gonna make them feel isolated. Isolation and feeling alone. That's two things. When your child picks on a victim, they're being isolated. You don't want to leave your child alone. No excuses. When your child picks on another child, they're feeling isolated. Your child makes them feel isolated. You know, I get that. You know, parents want to defend the bully and say, hey, you know, my sweet little Eric or my sweet little Johnny, my sweet little Timothy would never, ever pick on somebody. It's always the parents defending the child. Parents, you are not your kid's buddy. Mom and dad, listen up. You are not your kid's buddy. You are a parent. Act like a parent, and if not, give your child up for fucking adoption. Get them to the foster care and say, hey, take my child, adopt this child, because I don't know how to be a parent. What you should have done beforehand was taking parenting classes, so that way you know how to raise your child. But through the teen years, you got an uphill battle. And when it comes to bullying, you need to know how to be an uphill battle. If you got a child who's victimizing others, who's picking on people, you got to stand your ground and say, hey, don't be doing that. I don't want to see you getting in trouble. I don't want to see you going to jail. I mean, you think like, oh, it's a big joke that people commit suicide? Well, here's the thing. If your child thinks it's funny, go talk to the families of a child children who have committed suicide because of bullying and cyberbullying, and think to yourself, oh, it's just a big joke. You think that's funny? Look in the eyes of the parents. Look in the eyes of kids who have been bullied and see if it's funny. It's not. It's not funny. You may think it's funny. It's not. It's the same behavior. It's all over the news we see. There's bullying going on everywhere. And California is one of the stricter states. And now, just hours ago, the family is suing the school district for $5 million over this alleged bullying.
Years old, she was autistic. My client at the time, she was a 5th grader. She was 10 years old. She was autistic.
John Merrick represents
Hey,
James Doe, the student.
My client at the time, she was a 5th grader. She was 10 years old. She was autistic.
John Merrick represents Jane Doe, the student this 14-page lawsuit says was victim to bullying at Amelia County Elementary School for months. The lawsuit says it started in August 2021 when Jane Doe's mother notified her teacher and principal about her child coming home with bruises from being hit, pushed, and kicked by a bully. The following month, another report of bullying came up, yet based on counselor notes, it was determined a peer conflict, something Virginia law says does not constitute as bullying.
Bullying does not include ordinary teasing, horseplay, argument, or peer conflict. So there you go. The last sentence provides sort of an out to say this wasn't bullying, this was something else.
But the lawsuit goes on, detailing more alleged incidents, from more bruising and bullies stabbing Jane Doe with a pencil and threatening to kill her with a pair of scissors, to Jane Doe going to the nurse's office for being hit in the face with a block, and the following month sending a text to her mother about being hit with ice.
That this was something that was occurring over the course of several months that culminated in a brutal assault at school.
In February, the lawsuit alleges Jane Doe was assaulted in the school by bullies, and the act was caught on camera. That video has not yet been seen by CBS 6. The lawsuit alleges her principal, assistant principal, and 2 teachers told the family multiple times that the bullying would be handled and that Jane Doe would be kept away from the bullies. But the defense maintains that there are not enough facts to prove they were negligent, grossly negligent, or intentionally inflicted emotional distress on Jane Doe, as the lawsuit claims.
Was this bullying? Did the teachers know that this was going on? Did they have an opportunity to take action and fail to take action? Was this harm foreseeable? Those are all questions that ultimately a jury will be asked to decide.
I reached out to the attorneys representing all 4 defendants, and none of them have responded at this time. Now, after 2 years, this case will finally go to trial. A pretrial conference is scheduled for this Friday at 9 a.m. I'm Elizabeth Holmes for CBS 6.
Okay. 14-page lawsuit declaiming bullying. Now, there's bullying going on. And there was bullying going on. It's been going on for years. The school's been sued, and now they're probably going to want to say, we've tried everything. Was this bullying? The teachers know what's going on? I mean, that's what one attorney says. $5 million of controversy damages and $350,000 for punitive damages against the defendant. The video has not been seen, and it was caught on camera. Nobody knows about the incident. But now there's more bullying policies but now there's one state, one school saying, hey, we need more bullying policies going on. More punishments. Take a look.
As parents call on educators to do more to stop bullying. Now to Amelia County as parents call on educators to do more to stop bullying. This comes after the death of 17-year-old John Tersha, who died by suicide. Tonight, dozens speaking out at a special meeting calling for change. Chantel Davis was there and joins us now live from Amelia. Chantel.
Tonight's meeting extremely emotional, with dozens of people approaching the podium, including John's family. Now, many of them asked the school board, why aren't there tougher rules to stop bullying?
I didn't need to be told how. I didn't want to know how. I had sized up what I needed to know, and that was to know that my son had taken his life.
The sounds of sniffling fill the auditorium, not a dry eye in sight, as John Tersha's family recalled the moment they found him.
Over the past week, I watched their family go through the unimaginable. It began with John's mother's scream as she found her son's lifeless body.
April 25th, John died, and his family says they believe bullying pushed him over the edge. The news of his death causing outrage among families in Amelia County. Monday night, many of them voiced their own concerns with bullying, including one mom who said her son was best friends with John, but she had to relocate him after he too was bullied.
After he got his jaw broken in the halls of this high school, 9 hours of plastic surgery, plates to hold his jaw together.
Some of them read letters from students who did not feel comfortable speaking out loud, while others called for the resignation of Superintendent Dr. Lori Harper, claiming enough isn't being done to create a safe and learning environment for students.
The first thing I want to do is call for the immediate resignation of Dr. Harper. I think it starts at the top.
However, Dr. Harper, along with her staff, presented the resources in place to help with bullying, like their anonymous tip line. But community members say it's not enough.
But as a school, we have to get those things that were on the screen into the school.
Another huge concern, why this writing on the wall, which says, quote, John T. KYS now, which means kill yourself now, didn't get removed immediately. Division leaders say this is because graffiti incidents in school were not being reported properly in their system.
The writing on the wall was no doubt a pushing factor for this child's decision to end his life. The writing should have been removed or painted over immediately.
Now, school board members listened to each person's concern, adding that schools are required by law to contact parents once a bullying incident is reported. Now, they say that they're going to work with the administration to ensure accountability is in place, but they did not give clear direction on what that looks like moving forward. I'm live in Amelia. Chantel Davis, 12 on your side.
All right, thank you, Chantel. And the family.
Scammers.
Great. We have the superintendent resigning. Okay, there's probably gonna be more changes going on. Amelia County needs to be putting more policies in place. State laws. You know, if the school violates state law, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna withhold your funding until you do better. And it's like, well, we're not funding back. We're trying to do better. There's no try. There is no try. There is no trying here. There needs to be doing. You sit there and say, well, we're trying our best to keep our kids safe. We don't need you trying. We need you doing. We pay you. We pay our taxes, and our tax dollars go to the school. Look at this boy. Look at him. Take a look at this boy for a minute. Look at him. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Look at him. Look at this face. This is the face of somebody who wants change, who wants to be loved, who wants to be cared for, and yet nothing is going to be done. I mean, superintendent wants to defend himself saying, hey, we have bullying policies, we have tip lines, and the whole community is saying, well, this isn't enough. We need scared straight. Like I've been saying, like I said earlier, what the bully and the bully's parents need to do is to sit in front of the parents who have lost a loved, who have lost their child because of bullying, look at their eyes and say, hey, and have them look at the eyes, have the bully look at the eyes of the victim's parents who lost their loved one because of bullying, and have the victim's parents look at them and look at the bully and say, hey, this is not right for you. This is not you. You can do better. You can make change. I know in your heart you can do good. If you continue to pick on somebody, you're going to make them feel isolated. And if you bully somebody, you think it's a joke, it's no joke at all. Bullying plays a big part, not just in these school threats, but in these school shootings. I was a kid, you were a kid. If you got your ass beat, don't cry about it, but you still stood up to the bully. Bring the attention to school. And nobody would care. Because it always gets pushed back to the victims. All the victims get pushed back. And not even one board member shed a tear. The whole community shed tears. Not even a board member. And listen, you know, I got a nephew who's 1.5. And if he ever gets picked on, I ought to be concerned about, and as an uncle, I ought to be concerned about his safety. I want to be concerned about the safety, just be concerned about the safety of all students. You know, every school district needs to have bullying policies. Every state needs laws. Not just 15 states. Every state needs bullying policies and bullying laws put in place. Schools have got to be punished for not doing enough. If the school asks, what are y'all doing about your bullying problem? And they say, well, we're doing everything in our power we can. If they inspect, say, well, let's take a look at your bullying report. And if they look at zeros, then you pass. And if they say, you say, oh, we have no bullying incidents, then you probably look good on paper. But if you lie saying there's no bullying incidents, We have not reported a single one. You lie in their face. Talk to the parents. Like, has there been bullying going on? Yes. Did you talk to school about it? Yes, we have, and nothing's being done. State inspector comes in, and it's like, well, we're going to mark you. We're going to withhold your fund until you can solve your bullying problem. Then it'd be up to the board to say, hey, what can we do to make sure this bullying problem does not ever happen again? And it's like you officials saying, well, we tried, we have our bullying support system, it doesn't work. That's what other people would say. Other people would say it doesn't work. Well, let me tell you, it probably doesn't work because nobody cares. Here's the bottom line. Nobody should ever be picked on. Period. We're going to take another break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Truancy and bullying are linked. In this documentary we're about to show you, it is linked. Take a look at this. Take a look at this documentary from years ago with over 2,000 views.
Hi, my name is Luis, and I'm a student here at Hollenbeck Middle School. Right now, our school is empty because we are on summer break. But what happens when school starts and students are supposed to be in class, getting an education, don't come, and they just skip school? According to the California Department of Education, the truancy rate at Hollenbeck Middle School in 2014 was 75%. Us Pell kids, well, we've seen a lot of ditching here at Hollenbeck, and we want to know why and what can be done about it. This is Cynthia Gonzalez, and she's a city attorney at the Hollenbeck Police Station.
Hello, Mrs. Gonzalez. What is the definition of truancy?
What truancy is defined as? So, one truancy is 3 unexcused absences. So, if you're ditching and you ditch one day, that counts as 1 of 3.
Is ditching similar to truancy?
You know, it is. It's very, very similar because when you say ditching, that just means, you ditched one day. But technically, by definition, you have to ditch 3 times to become truant.
How big of a problem is truancy in Boyle Heights?
It's a huge problem.
Truancy is bad because it affects your attendance, and then it also takes you in bad routes. In school, you start messing up with your grades, you start slacking.
If the kids don't get their education, what can happen is that they're gonna live in the streets and pay for money or work in Burger King or restaurants.
I am very concerned about truancy, especially here at the middle school level, because when kids don't come to school, they aren't learning, they're missing out on their academic content. And if you don't come to school, then you're gonna be behind. And then when you come back, it's going to be difficult to catch up. And so it makes school seem a lot harder than what it actually is.
The school loses money, federal money, for attendance through all the periods, not just one period.
We use valuable money to the school for supplies and curriculum for the students to learn.
It's bad. It's bad for schools, it's bad for kids, it's bad for families, it's bad for students.
Does truancy affect crime and the quality of life in the community?
There's a big correlation, meaning there's a big connection between truancy, gangs, and crime.
When I was still working patrol, there was countless amount of kids who would just be out roaming around during the week, during school hours.
So they stopped going to school, they ended up getting in trouble, they ended up joining gangs, and when you're a gang member, you get involved in a lot of crime. So there is a big connection between being truant and crime.
What are some causes of truancy? And what I mean by that is, why do you think kids skip school?
I think that there's probably a lot of reasons why kids skip school. Nowadays, I think one of the really big reasons is bullying. I think there's a lot of bullying that goes on in school, and I think in order for a kid to not go and have to deal with that bully, they just don't go.
Ever since preschool, I've been bullied, but I've always had to find a way to get past it. And kids are still bullying me now in 11, but it really doesn't affect me anymore. You know, I just learned to ignore it. I've also seen kids bullying other kids, and I just don't think it's right.
If you're being bullied at school, who wants to be bullied? You're gonna skip out in school. You'll make up any excuse to not have to be bullied.
In our research, we found that a lot of people are saying that it's the school's fault, or it's the parents, or it's the actual kid's fault. Who do you think is right?
I kind of think everyone's right. Because if you really, really look at it, everyone's kind of at fault.
The parent has the responsibility of the student is younger, taking them to school on time, being involved in the school, and the parent conferences, and the back to school night.
It's something that we need to work hard to make sure that students are truant, that they're in school, but we also have to provide them with an interesting learning environment so that they want to be here.
I think first we have to make school fun, interesting, and exciting for students. So that is number one. The other thing is to figure out why are students being truant. Is there any issues at home with family? Any issues on the way to school that might be keeping a student from coming? And finding out what are some of the ways that we can support students by maybe connecting them with resources, community organizations, or counseling.
A lot of the students need to start taking a little more personal responsibility in making better choices. Because, like I said earlier, regardless of how many excuses you want to make for choosing to ditch, you still chose to ditch.
If you don't go to school, what can you do tomorrow? Be in the street? You know, you have to be, you have to prepare yourself for the future, be a good person, somebody good for the community, for the society.
To talk to them. They're still teenagers, their hormones are still coming, and they're not sure what they're feeling right now. Some are feeling sadness, depression, like that, or something's wrong with their family, or something's wrong. Just talk to them, they're just human beings as well as us. And we had that same time where we feel like we need somebody to talk to us, and why? Because our education is the most important one of all, and that's what we need the most.
I agree 100% with what Maya Well said. Just talk to us, believe in us, it could go a long way. Well, thank you for watching. We hope we started a good conversation about truancy.
Well, the parent's responsibility. It's your job as a parent to make sure your child goes to school all day, every day, unless you have a reasonable reason, like, you know, religious reasons, medical reasons, or you have to go to a funeral. But bullying does play a big part in truancy. That's just one of the huge problems in the state of California. There shouldn't be, I mean, people are saying, well, there shouldn't be a law. I mean, problems all over America. In California, you cannot take guns, but something else can happen. But bullying, but here's the thing. Bullying and truancy are linked. Not many people want to go to school, but not many people commit truancy hate because they're being bullied. And the truancy court's all like saying, you know, just go to school without any excuse absences. And it's like, you know, I've been picked on, I've been bullied. But isolation is linked to bullying and truancy. Truancy leads problems in school, social isolation, crimes, and worse. And, you know, kids are always using the bullying excuse. You know, they're not talking to school officials, they're talking to their teachers, they're talking to their parents. All they want to do is just skip school. And then when they do talk to their parents, like, why'd you come to me to cheering? Because there's always the old saying, I thought I could handle it myself. And so the right thing they should do is to report this to your school, talk to your parents, and talk to your parents first, report to the school, talk to your parents, let them know what's going on, and see what they can do. And if you feel like they're not doing anything, talk to the superintendent. If the superintendent's not going to do anything, you can address it at public comment in the next board meeting. If they won't do anything about it, then you file a lawsuit and say, hopefully this will help them do better. So hopefully it can help you out here. That's all for this edition of Game Break Wednesday. We'll see you again at Game Break Friday. For everyone here on YouTube, give me a break. Stop bullying, speak up. Concentration, not strength. No jaywalking. Please take care of yourself. and each other and prepare for your future. Good night.